Welcome to a review of Dune Part 2. I actually just finished reading the original Dune book recently. I started it about 2.5 years ago, but hey, I'm a slow reader. And I really enjoyed reading it, so I was excited for the movies to come out. I thought the first film was a great, faithful adaptation that brought the story to life on a beautifully grand scale. And I'm happy to say that the second part is even better. This film is such an unbelievably well-realized science fiction fantasy. Everything about it sucks you in. The performances are great, the effects are great, and the sets, my goodness, the sets are awe-inspiring. This will absolutely go down as one of those sequels that is leagues above an already great predecessor. Because while that first film is great, it does kind of suffer from that part 1 problem of feeling like it's not a really complete story, and it cuts off at a point that makes you feel like there was supposed to be more. Part 2, though, feels a lot more complete. It doesn't even feel like you're missing that much when it starts. The starting point feels like a pretty good starting point. You could only watch this second one and feel like you got a complete story. Another thing that makes it different from Part 1 is that this one is a lot more different from the book. Part 1 stuck a lot closer to the source material, but the thing is, I think the changes made to Part 2 actually benefited a lot, because it streamlines and focuses a lot of aspects of the story that I admittedly had trouble following when I read it. That helped the story move along in a way that helped me better keep along with what was going on with the war on Arrakis. The changes also benefited the characters as well, in my opinion. Zendaya's character, Chani, is a lot more submissive in the books, and here they made her character a much more interesting secondary protagonist, whose feelings on the events of the story were a lot stronger and more compelling. Now, I haven't read the second book that they're talking about basing the third film on, Dune Messiah, but from what I gather after comparing the film to the book, it seems like the changes made to Chani, among other things, are to make for a more solid setup for what's to come. But again, that's just me speculating. Also, maybe this is just me not paying that close attention to what was going on in the book, but it seems like they've made a lot of changes to Javier Bardem's character, Stilgar, as well. In the book, I remember him being a solid mentor character, but in the movie, he's a straight-up religious fanatic who can't see Timothée Chalamet's character, Paul, do anything without referencing the prophecy and calling him the Messiah. I thought this actually made things more interesting, because it created more discussion amongst the characters about the validity of the prophecy, and whether or not faith in it and faith in Paul was a good thing. And speaking of Paul, his character arc was very well translated. In both versions, he goes through a very jarring heel turn as a character that I won't spoil. And again, I could be wrong, but I think story-wise they moved it down later than where it happens in the book, which honestly makes it more jarring, but I think it works, because it gives us more time to be with him as a more humanized character, making the turn all the more dramatic and effective. Well, those are just my thoughts after watching this movie. What'd y'all think? Agree? Disagree? Think I'm stupid? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you thought of this film. As for me, I say, Dune Part 2? More like Dune Part Gas. What else can I say other than it's just so good?